while since we've caught up with Andrew Kida. Of course,
it's been too long.
Too
Gary.
long. It's always too long. Andrew, great to have you in. We got a lot to talk about.
There's a lot going on. It's Camanche. There's always something going on there now.
And you're the city administrator.
Yes,
Camanche is a city.
It is a city, yes.
That's right. I remember that.
We're not a small town. We're not tiny little Camanche. It is a city.
A $500,000 trail grant?
We received that through the RPA. They had funding funneled to them from the federal government, and they had X amount of years to spend it. And people weren't putting in for that grant funding because it was only $250,000 and it's an 80-20 match. And it's really tough to get stuff done for $250,000 or $300,000 for a trail project like that. So, but if they didn't spend it by the end of next fiscal year, they'd have to give it back. And it was $1.2 million overall. So they increased the maximum contribution amount to $500,000. So we applied for it. In 2019, we established a trail plan for Camanche just for situations like this. So when funding is available, you take the plan off the wall, you shake the dust off of it, you submit an application, and you take parts of the plan and start doing them. And in this case, we did that. There were 3 grants awarded out of 5 applicants. The City of Clinton got theirs. So they'll be receiving $500,000 grant for part of their trail plan. I'm not sure what part they're doing of their plan, but for us, we received $500,000. We came in second place. Matt Brook beat me by 0.6 points on the scoring. I think they got 118 and I got 117.4. So he can brag about that all he wants. But so part of our plan is extending the trail that runs in front of Murphy Subdivision off of 9th Street. We're going to have to bring the bike path out into the street a little bit, so we're just going to stripe that part off in front of the football stadium because there's really no room to increase the sidewalk without having a major expense. And then take out the sidewalk as you come back into that driveway on the far westerly side of the school building. Bring it back on that sidewalk area, take all that sidewalk out, and convert it to a 10-foot wide shared use path. And then it comes up around the corner of 9th Street and 9th Avenue. Same thing. That all becomes shared use path. And I know there's plenty of parents who have been by there in the morning and they see, especially in this time of year, how many kids ride their bikes to school. But we make them either ride in the street or ride on the sidewalk. And it's just not wide enough to accommodate all that traffic. And if you have pedestrians at the same time, in the morning when adults are out there doing their exercise, there's not enough room. And we end up with people walking in the street, and that's not safe. So that'll extend all the way up 9th Avenue, all the way, and then cross. We have a crosswalk going over to Platt Park across 9th Avenue. That's going to receive some flashing yield signs where people will be able to push the button and it'll blink to let people know there's someone in the crosswalk. And it'll go across to Platt Park and then up to the end of Platt Park where the parking lot is for the softball field. So that'll all be shared use path. And it will also be extending Washington Boulevard shared use from at the end of Logisticus. We have it cross Washington Boulevard and go down 3rd Street. Well, the north side of Washington Boulevard is just grass there now. So we're going to make that also shared use path and bring it all the way over to 17th Avenue where it converts back to sidewalk for now. So that's a lot of work. Yeah. And, I'm not one to turn down $500,000 of federal funding that needs to get spent to help improve the community and improve the walkability and the ability to bicycle throughout the city.
So when will this actually get underway, and will you bid on this?
It'll be it has to be a bid process. We'll do a bid letting, and that'll be done probably in the fall of 2026. It has to be completed by June 30th of 2027.
Okay.
So in that time frame, we're a little ways off, but it's probably going to move pretty quickly. If we're going to try and get it so that the process happens over a summer.
So now, when this actually does get started, will it disrupt traffic or anything like that at all, Andrew?
It won't disrupt traffic at all.
Okay.
It's because it's just converting the sidewalk to shared use path.
Okay. Fire Chief, we're going to be getting a new one?
Chief Schutte, after 20 years, is retiring. We appreciate his years of service and really steering that fire department into what it is today. I mean, everybody builds along the way, and he's elevated that to the next level, which is, we have 5 full-time firefighters now, which is another one of those things where people say, well, Camanche is too small to have 5 full-time firefighters. No, we're not. They do a lot of calls, and the ability to have someone there all night. We have 3 guys that work 24-hour shifts. When an ambulance call comes in, it's no longer waiting for everybody to roll in there and then get the ambulance ready. The person who's there has the ambulance ready, everything ready to go. Mm-hmm. So when people come in, they pile in and head out. That shortens your response time. So Chief has really been ahead on that, maintaining the equipment, coming up with a schedule for new capital equipment that's coming up in the future. Really done a fantastic job for us over the years. But he's retiring, and committee met Tuesday. I got to get my day straight. It's been, oh my gosh, it's been so much stuff going on.
You were telling me you were up in Decorah.
I was in Decorah all day Tuesday. Well, not all day. 3 hours driving there, hour and a half meeting, 3 hours driving back to get back to conduct the interviews in the evening. So I was a little road weary. We also had a chiefs panel that was convened. With different fire chiefs from the state who conducted interviews for we had 4 candidates, and then we took that as a seal. Their information had it sealed before we got it, and then we conducted our own panel. That's how I do it. Mm-hmm. And we interviewed 4 candidates, and we selected Jim Soul as the next fire chief to replace Chief Schutte. And Jim's been with us a long time.
I know Jim, and I know his passion for fire.
Absolutely. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. He loves that work. He loves helping people. Mm-hmm. He loves helping his coworkers, and we're going to work on doing it, taking from that passion and moving things forward with the staff that we have, and we look forward to doing that. He's accepted, and I just have to submit that in front of council, and he'll start mid-November as we'll title him the incoming fire chief, because you can't have 2 fire chiefs at the same time. There'll be a month and a half of overlap, 2 months of overlap. So Jim will actually get to sit with Dave and have a good working knowledge of what happens and what it takes to do that the administrative functions of that job.
Before we take a break for the weather, I just wanted to bring up one more thing about that. You had mentioned you have 5 full-time fire members.
Yep.
Do you still have volunteers down there yet?
They have a lot of volunteers too, and we rely heavily on them as well. The real difficulty comes in the daytime. A lot of our volunteers have day jobs, and it becomes more and more difficult for them to break away from their day job to be able to go to respond to ambulance calls, and it's primarily what it is.
Right.
Thankfully
you don't have that many fires down there.
We do not, and that's helpful to that situation.
Do you want to take a break for the weather before we get into the...
it's your show, Gary. You can do what you want.
No,
I'm here for the ride, brother.
It's your show. Check of the weather now, brought to you by Dan Dolan.
A much more summer-like day expected as we bring back lots of sunshine, and winds will be switching to the south today. You know what that means? We'll have temperatures up to near 90 this afternoon. For tonight, mostly clear skies will still remain comfortable. Overnight lows in the upper 50s. With your Storm Track 8 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Slow warm-up. We're at 65 degrees right now. Our update brought to you by Dan Dolan.
If the monthly rental cost of retirement facility living has you scared, you're not alone. Hi, I'm Dan Dolan of the Villas at Mill Creek, and I've got the answer. If you are over age 62, you can utilize reverse mortgage for purchase to buy one of my new age-in-place townhomes with a one-time down payment and no future mortgage payments. That's it. You just pay your taxes, insurance, and a monthly $65 fee. We mow the lawn and shovel the snow. Call me at 381-4088 for all the details, or visit our model home at Mill Creek Crossing, or call your favorite local realtor.
Andrew Kida, Comanche City Administrator, with us. This weather has been so hot. You guys have actually extended the splash pad?
We have. It gets darker earlier, and I understand that it's a little challenging to readjust the times and when it can shut down, so it still stays open until 7. But because the hot weather's still here, we have it open for the next week. We'll close it finally on Sunday. When it shuts off on Sunday, that'll be the end of it.
And you're going to invite some four-legged friends?
Our four-legged citizens will be invited on Sunday from, I haven't really set that time. I think probably from 4 to 6:30, 7 o'clock, to let the dogs have the run of the thing.
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of requests for that.
Well, the Clinton pool does it at the end of their season.
Right, they do.
Yeah.
And why not? We've had a lot of people ask, can I bring my dog? And we say no, because kids aren't necessarily all comfortable being around dogs. And we are also going to offer an amnesty day for people who bring their dogs. Any dog who comes has to be registered with the city. If they're not registered with the city, you'll need to bring a copy of the rabies vaccination that you have, and we'll offer an amnesty day. You can register your dog. You got to pay the fee. We're going to waive the late fees. Got to pay the fee to register your dog, and we'll get your dog registered. And really, that's so that we know whose dog is what. We got to. I just saw this morning, we've got a dog in doggy jail down at Public Works, and it's really about being able to contact people if they have their tags on. We can figure out whose dog it is and get their dog back to them without sending them to the Humane Society or any of the other stuff and make people run all over the place. So
well, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Library referendum vote. Let's talk about that.
That's coming up on the next ballot in November. So the Camanche Public Library is one of the smallest Class D sized libraries in the state of Iowa, and that's based on population. I think we're like 4th or 5th from the bottom or something like that. And we're on the cusp of being a Class E library, which is above 5,000 in population. If we move to the 5,000 population Class E, we're the smallest. We have a lot of programs going on there. There's a lot of things we can't do because of the size restrictions. And when we do have programs, it makes it very difficult for the library to conduct other business. There's a lack of privacy. We get a lot of calls for meeting rooms that we can't accommodate because we don't have one. So there's a lot of functions. And really, people need to understand, too, libraries are not about checking out books anymore. They still do that, but they check out a lot of other things. They do a lot of programs. We do after-school programs. We provide a space for homeschool families to bring their kids there to do things. So the truth is we need more space. So the referendum will be asking for the city to bond $4.2 million to help fund the library. There's two concepts out there. Whatever gap in between the $5.5 million proposal or the $7.5 million proposal, however much money we raise in that interim, is the project will move forward with. The important thing is that there's a $4.2 million debt retiring from the Washington Boulevard project from 20 years ago. That retires in 2027. So the idea is to let that debt fall off and bring on the new debt so it doesn't change taxes. The important thing I want people to understand, because I got some feedback from this, people need to understand how the tax system works. That is a debt levy. It costs about $360,000 a year to pay that debt back. So we bring that in property taxes, specifically for the debt. So if we let the debt fall off, the city doesn't continue to bring that $360,000 in to build it up for anything. That revenue just goes away. So and that would lower people's taxes. The estimate out there is for every $100,000 of value you have in your house, it would save you $66 a year. So if the average house, is $250,000 in Camanche, let's call it $200,000 because the math gets a lot easier, right?
Yes.
It would save you about $130 a year in property taxes. So the people need to make their decision then as to whether or not they want to continue to move forward with expanding a library and doing that project and making it a better facility for everybody, or if they want to save $130 a year.
I would imagine it is confusing to folks, no doubt about that. And, trying to explain to them exactly how this works can't be easy.
It's not easy. I'm always available. We've done some presentations to different places and different groups, and we had some presentations at the library and presentations at City Hall, and everybody's welcome. If anybody has any questions about it, they're more than welcome to come to my office. When it comes to government finance and operations, I'm a geek about that. I'm a government geek, and I'll talk your ear off for 45 minutes about how all this stuff works. And usually people, they hear that and they go, Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
now I get it. Right. So there you go.
So the library, have you guys formulated some plans on?
There are two plans, two images out there, two sets of plans. One is a single story. That's the less expensive one. It still, I mean, expands the square footage of the space, no doubt. But it kind of condenses a lot of the spaces we would like to have expanded for programs or different things that the library can do. The second one is a two-story model, and it would have a second story events center. So it would be a place accessible for people to rent out whenever, not just during library hours. It would be segregated with key card passes and timed locks and everything. But it would be an opportunity for the library to actually bring in revenue to the city, because right now it's mostly funded through property tax dollars.
And I would think that you're going to probably stay at the same location.
Oh, yes,
It's
absolutely.
so
It's the same
beautiful right
location.
there.
I challenge anybody to find a more beautiful view of from their public library
Yeah.
than what the city of Camanche has.
No doubt. Water sewer rate, something coming up in the next council meeting.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at that. You know, I've done some analysis and gone back through the history, and I was a little bit shocked because in 2008, we bill quarterly, so I'll speak about it in quarterly numbers and monthly numbers. The monthly base rate for sewer in 2007, 2008 was $2.50 a month, $7.50 per quarter. So the city council back then said it's not sufficient. They more than doubled it. It went to $16.50 per quarter, or $5 and some change per month. And then the next year they raised it another $5, and the year after that they raised it another $5, and brought it to a somewhat more appropriate level of $25 per quarter. But still, I mean, you're $8 and some change per month for the base rate of your sewer. We did a base rate adjustment again in 2023. It moved it to $30.51 per quarter. And so that's, $10 per month for the base rate of sewer. That is still extremely inexpensive. And, people will say, well, I don't want to raise the rates just because other people have much larger sewer rates. I don't want to raise it just because everybody else does. And what I say to that is other places have larger base rates for their sewer because they're investing in their infrastructure. They pay more wages out of their sewer funds because people work for the sewer system. They're buying equipment. They're making sure they can do maintenance on the system, and we haven't done that. So council is going to have to make the decision on how they want the sewer fund to move forward. The sewer fund ended in the negative this year, which is not great, because your expenses are exceeding your revenues. Revenues aren't enough because the rate is not appropriate. I talk to people all the time. They say our quarterly bill is their monthly bill. So I'm not saying we should have the city of Camanche should have rates like that, but certainly you can see there's a disparity, and they're getting their systems taken care of. And the recent splash pad backups that we had in the city provided a clear indication that we need to do something more in maintaining the lines, which is, tree roots get into the sewer lines there, and they start catching wet wipes and toilet paper and all that, and it creates backups, and then people consistently have problems. Well, you can either replace your sewer lines, which is super expensive, or you can get a root cutter, and part of our regular maintenance program could be jetting those lines and cutting the roots out and do it on a regular maintenance level, quadrant off the city, and here, and here, and then do it in a circular motion.
Now, is this going to be just basically a council decision, or will this come to a vote?
No, that's a council decision. They run the utility. So those are proprietary operations. Water, sewer, and garbage for us are proprietary operations.
Okay.
They're business operations of the city.
Okay.
And I always challenge people when they say it's taxpayer money. It's not. They're customers. As the city runs the utility, and it's a customer-based utility. So I think it's the obligation of the city to run those utilities as a business. as you would run any business. And if this is not the way you would run a business if it were your private business. So we need to adjust those things. It'll be up to council to make the decision on how far ahead they want to move the sewer fund and the water fund, and make sure we're able to have enough money to do infrastructure projects and maintain the system.
Got about 5 minutes left in the program. Again, a pleasure to have Andrew Kida in from the Camanche City Administrator's Office. Fairway, I know you guys have been working on getting Fairway to your community.
We have. We're much closer. They've parceled off 4 acres of the land, of the 12 acres of land they're going to put the structure on. In the next meeting, we'll be calling for a public hearing for the second meeting in October, where we will place on the agenda a public hearing for creating an urban renewal area. So that's under Iowa code to create an urban renewal area, and it'll be an extensive one. It'll be the Fairway property, come down 9th Avenue, goes either way on Washington Boulevard a long way, and then shoots down to the marina. Because we want to be able to do projects in that urban renewal area. Within the urban renewal area, we'll create a TIF district, that stands for tax increment financing, where the property taxes collected in that TIF district don't get distributed to the school district, the county, and the school board, or the community college and the city. It all comes to us, and we use that as that funding as incentive to the construction project in the TIF district. So we'll be rebating. It'll be an 85-15 split. 85% of the property taxes that Fairway pays over the next 20 years will go back to them. The city will take the other 15%. We're going to do a street expansion of 10th Place to extend it down to 9th Avenue to come around by that property, and we'll use that 15% of funding to help make that happen.
To make something like this happen, I mean, and I think we've talked about this before, did you reach out to Fairway? Did Fairway reach out to you? What was the process to get a market?
We had reached out to multiple grocers in the area, because the Camanche Food Pride grocery store and liquor store across the street was interested in maybe finding something to come in there, and we tried to get Fairway or even Hy-Vee to come consider that location. And Fairway was the only one who responded, and their opinion of that space was it too small to fit their footprint of what they needed. People ask that all the time. Why don't they just go there? Well, they need a certain size footprint to make their store happen. They don't do smaller market things like other places do.
Yeah, not like a Casey's.
Right. And then there weren't other places along Washington Boulevard, other properties available for them to consider that either.
Yeah.
So they were able to look at this property and came back with us and said, we'd like to go here. How can we make that happen? So that created a little bit more of a challenge, because there's a lot of stuff that has to go into that. That land has issues with stormwater and sanitary sewer, because our infrastructure access points are too shallow to be able to take that sewage away for larger residential projects. And we're not interested in adding more lift stations in Camanche. It is way too expensive to do that. So this became much more feasible with on-site stormwater retention, and we had to work through a lot of that. And so now we're at a point where we're ready to move forward, create the urban renewal area, and then pretty quickly we'll come up with a development agreement with them and create the TIF district and be ready to move. Now, the secret here is that they're not going to start until October of next year, is when if this all gets approved. Everybody has been rumored out there saying the Fairway project said, just because they're not moving dirt. These projects take a long time to manifest. Yeah. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work, and that's what I spend a lot of my days doing, trying to make all that stuff happen. People go, what do you do all day? Well, I try and make this stuff happen. That's what I do.
Well, it'll be great once it does happen.
It will be. It'll be of a great benefit for the community.
No doubt about that. Hey, thank you so much. I always appreciate you coming in. We'll probably catch up with you when we get into the new year, okay?
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Once again, our thanks to Andrew Kida for stopping by at the Camanche City Administrator. We got 5 Thursdays in October, and we're going to fill them all up. Of course, on the 2nd, we always hear from the mayor of Clinton, Scott Madison. On the 3rd, Wes Golden, of course, will be in. Now, on the 23rd, Alicia Christensen, superintendent out at Northeast, she'll be in. And then on the 30th,